Welcome, everyone, to the Driven G Podcast. I'm your host, Uncle Jimmy. With me is host of Media Gaming and special guest, Thunderstash. We record this podcast live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is podcast on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else in podcasts. You must become a member of this podcast, get extra podcast content every single month. And it is Tuesday this week because we had to make an accommodation for our special guest, which is, if you did not hear in the intro, his name is Steve, but you can call him Thunderstash over on YouTube and all the platforms that he's on. I'm not entirely sure what else he's on. I know he does a different podcast, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But what's up, Steve? How you doing, dude?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me. And I think just like everyone else right now, gamers, content creators, we're super busy. So it's been a very fun time. This is my first time covering a console launch, as a content creator. I've always enjoyed them as a fan. So it's a whole nother beast right now, but it's been fun. So
Yeah,
just
man.
staying busy. Happy to be here to hang out with you guys and talk Switch too.
Pleasure to have you, dude. We super appreciate it. We know you got a busy schedule on your plate. I know you do stuff with Nintendo Prime. You do stuff with Mike Odyssey. You do your own stuff, of course. I mean, I know, like us all, we all like I said, content creators. We're busy right now, and in the best way possible. It's fantastic.
Best way possible. That's for sure.
Yeah. How you doing, Drip? What's up?
I'm good. Fantastic. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great because you know why? Because
I got a desk. I got a new desk.
Oh, yeah.
You can't see it, but it's here.
Yeah, I
There's
believe
a new
you.
desk here.
I believe you.
I put it together today. I thought I had so much time to do it. I did not have so much time to do it. I was basically frantically putting the rest of it together as I got you on Discord. And then I couldn't figure out my internet didn't work, but it's done. It's big. It's
Yeah. Awesome, dude.
yeah, as you can tell, things look a little different over here. But I don't know if this is going to stay. I don't know. The more and more I look at this, I don't know if I like it. But we'll see. We'll figure it out.
I know you're very picky about it. Whatever you decide, you'll figure it out. It'll look great. Two big things. Speaking of big things, two big things. Number one, Joey Pitts with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. Mario Kart World may not be worth $80, but Welcome Tour is. Joey Pitt's words, not mine. Just to be clear, we'll talk about, of course, the price of Mario Kart World and if it's worth it later in the show. We got, of course, we're going to just talk to Steve for a few minutes and just talk about him and his channel, his journey on YouTube. Very curious about these things. And we'll also get to some Switch 2 things, which goes to my number 2 thing that's big. And that is the Switch 2. And actually, mine's quite toasty right now because I was playing some Fortnite with my fiance before we were getting onto the show here. And I noticed how warm this thing gets, especially when you're pushing it to the limits, like in Fortnite.
In docked mode?
In docked mode, yeah.
Yeah, pull it out of the dock after you've been doing some wild shit on it. Yeah, it's hot. It is hot.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. Yeah. It's warm. That's for sure.
Yes.
To add to that, I just got home from the gym a little bit ago. Haven't played it today, but I went to go grab it to bring it in here, pulled it out of the dock, and it was warm as could be. I was like,
Really? Not even touch it? Not even like playing it all day?
No. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. But that's I don't recall that with Switch 1.
No.
So I'm gonna have to look into that.
That's interesting. I'm gonna put mine on the dock for a little bit and just see what happens. No, you're gonna turn it on. We're just gonna put it on there.
It's been about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, an hour and a half, we'll say, since I played it. It is warm to the touch. I just took it out of the dock just to show you guys here. It is warm. Was yours alarmingly warm or just warm?
In between the two.
I mean, it would be alarming
to be comfortable with.
Right. It's any bit of warmth is alarming if you haven't been using it all day. That is alarming regardless. So it is something to keep note of and keep an eye on. Have you done the battery trick? Speaking of which, have you done that battery trick to recalibrate the battery?
I did. I wasn't having any issues, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt, of course, to do it. So I did it anyways, so I don't run into issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that. So.
Yeah, Drip and I, but we both did it.
Did it change your percentage by a lot when you did it?
It did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Drip and I both did it.
Changed.
Drip and I both did it. It was 10% for both of us, which is yeah. It's like, oh, that's different. I actually did it a second time yesterday because I noticed it was in the dock for a long, long time, and I have the feature on where it stops at 90% just to try to preserve some battery for the future. And I noticed it was just at 87. It's just stuck at 87 instead of 90. I figured it would go to 90, but it's not going to 90. It's going to 87. So I'm like, I wonder if it's wrong again. I wonder if it like got out of sync or something like that. So I did it again, but nothing changed. It actually went down by a percentage, but that's probably just because I didn't have it plugged in. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah,
mine did the same thing as well. It was stuck at 88, and I took it out of that mode. So I'm like, let me just see. Let me try the other mode for a little bit and just feel it out. But yeah, I didn't like the fact that it didn't go up to 90. I don't know why. It kind of annoyed me.
As long as
I haven't even turned that on yet.
As long as it's the correct percentage and it's not uncalibrated again, I'm fine with it at 87 because to me that's just any closer to 90, degradation happens. In fact, what the real recommendation is 80 to 30%. You don't want it to get below 30%. You don't want it to get above 80%. That's like the true like lithium ion battery 101, how to take care of it. That's not realistic for phones and stuff, although people do that. They're kind of anal about it. That is the best way to take care of your devices with lithium ion.
A Switch, you really got to be watching.
Yeah, a Switch. I don't use a Switch long enough to worry about that, and at least not long enough outside of a charger reach. So I'm totally fine. I understand battery is a concern for the Switch 2. It needs to improve. I totally understand that. But in terms of like its current state, I'm totally fine with it personally because again, like I said, I'm not really out of reach of a charger or in dire need of a charge when I'm using it. So I know there people are out there that we need to represent for those people who are power users. We do need a better battery for you guys, but I'm fine where it's at,
Yeah, I agree. I don't play a ton of docked away from electricity.
Right. Okay, let's get to
I haven't really come into that yet either.
Yeah.
It's been fine. It's been totally fine.
Let's talk about Thunder Stats for a bit here. Happy 150,000 subscribers on YouTube, dude. That is quite a feat, man. Congratulations. Damn. That's you're kind of blowing up right now, man, in the best way possible.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I was nearing 100 right before heading out to New York for the Switch 2 experience. And right when I got back, I think it was right when I got back, I hit 100. And then I went on an editing spree, of course, to get all the videos done for the Switch 2 experience. It was basically like 5 days straight of editing. I think I put 13 videos out. And thankfully, those videos really resonated with people. And I went from 100 and jumped up to wherever I am now. And so that was super helpful. And it was interesting because I got an email from Nintendo. I think it was 6 days before. I was on the waiting list. So I got denied for everything. I applied for every time slot, every location, denied all, and then signed up for the waiting list. And thankfully that worked out. And so
you were there for 2 time slots
from Arizona.
You were in 2 time slots, right? Did you get your time was doubled, if not mistaken?
Yeah, we were only there on paper for 1 time slot. Okay. But yeah, we got to stay for 5 hours.
That's awesome, dude.
So we got to play everything. Yeah.
I checked your video out on that. You said, I forget the exact number of steps, but you said like, oh, we walked X many steps like for 5 hours. Like, I was like, damn, dude. That's what a.
Yeah, I was in there for what, like 2.5, 3. I didn't play everything, but I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to leave. I think I need to get out of here. I need to see light again. I've been in here too long. Yeah, I couldn't imagine being there 5 hours. Okay,
it was a blast.
Besides, obviously, like besides Donkey Kong, besides Mario Kart, what was your favorite thing you played in there?
Well, I was really impressed by Cyberpunk. I kind of looked at that as a real graphical showpiece for Switch 2. Of course, we didn't get to try out mouse mode, which would have been nice to try that out. But I was really impressed by that. Metroid Prime 4. I had a great time, again, playing mouse mode. and using the mouse to aim the arm cannon. Even in my video, I was using the charge blast constantly, just kind of testing out that switch to HD Rumble, and that was a great time. And both the Zelda games, again,
They're
they
so
just
good.
look amazing.
They're so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
they feel like different games now. They feel like completely different games. It's nuts.
they do. And this is what I said in my videos as well. And of course, there's always going to be people in the comments that question it. And it's like, look, hey, I review games for all consoles. I play all the games. I always have. There's no agendas here. Legit, this feels like a new game. This is awesome. Like, people are going to be excited, but you have to see it. I think for a lot of people, you have to see it to believe it, because the HDR doesn't come through great, especially when you're editing in Photoshop, uploading to YouTube. You lose a lot of the quality. And then it comes down to, you just got to trust me. Once you see it in person, then you'll see how good it looks in both docked and handheld mode.
Yeah,
those were two of my highlights.
Yeah, we'll talk about HDR in a minute. You can see the notes there. I have HDR as met. I want to expand on that a little bit later. But yeah, how did you get started in content? I think you're full time now, if I'm not mistaken. What got you? What got the urge to make some content?
Well, my whole life I've been playing video games. So I'm an 80s kid. I was born in 85. And so now I'm 40 years old now. And I started playing when I was 3 years old. I have two older brothers. So I've been playing since 88, I would say religiously. There's been no drop off for me. The love has only grown over the years. And probably like you guys, I grew up reading, Nintendo Power and EGM, Game Pro magazine, Game Informer, you name it. I read all the magazines, read all the reviews, started following IGN back in 96, end of 96, when it was IGN64.com.
Wow.
And I've always been interested in the whole video game review stuff since I was a kid. And it's been one of those things that I've always thought, maybe one day I'll do this. And schooling didn't really work out as far as like post high school graduation. I toyed around pretty seriously with the idea of possibly going to DigiPen. If you guys remember DigiPen, it was the school that's located. I think it was located in very close proximity to Nintendo of America in Redmond.
Oh, okay.
And it was basically like almost like their minor league. Like you go to school there and then you kind of can get called up to go work at Nintendo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I seriously toyed around with the idea of like going to school to do video games. And, I won't get into all that, but it obviously didn't work out, but it's still something that I was like, I've always wanted to work with video games. And ended up going to work in the restaurant business for 10 years. I was in corporate management, and they had me traveling all over, going to different locations to fix them. They would move me, they'd set me up in extended stays. I'd stay there for, 3, 6, 9 months, then move on to the next location. That was all across AZ, where I live, but in California mainly, San Diego, up in Monterey, all over. The restaurant has I think it had 70 locations at the time. So I did that for a long time. And towards the tail end of that, this is about 2014, I seriously considered, okay, maybe now's a good time to get in. Maybe I start streaming. I had some of my employees told me about Twitch at the time, and I almost did. I had the channel name reserved and everything. And my cousin ended up inviting me to a Christmas party for Loan Depot Mortgage Company. And he said, there's going to be a lot of hot chicks there. I said, okay, cool. I'll suit up.
Sign me up.
I'm down. Let's go. Yeah. I was like, this sounds like a
Do
great
they like
time.
do they like mustaches? That's your first question. Do they like mustaches?
Well, at the time, I was clean shaven.
Oh,
So
mistake number one.
No stash at that point. Yeah. So I ended up going to this Christmas party. A lot of people were saying you should come work here, especially if you worked in the restaurant business and you were like in corporate management. Mortgage is a lot of multitasking, and you should give it a try. So I ended up going to work at Loan Depot. And again, I had no experience in mortgage. Ended up working there for 10 years.
Wow.
I worked 11 positions in 10 years. My last position, I was the director of operations for the company.
Wow.
And yeah, so it was a great career. But I had always said, even towards the last probably 3 to 5 years, I had always said, if I ever stop working here, I'm going to go do what I want to do, which is go do video games on YouTube. That is what I will do next. And so when that happened, I knew exactly what I was going to go do. I was mentally prepared for what was next. And so I made that decision, and it was September of 2022. And I believe I posted my first video January 1st, 2023. Now, mind you, I was really not on social media at all, especially just being in management for as long as I was. I didn't have time for that. I was working crazy hours in the restaurant biz, and then even crazier hours in mortgage. So I just did not have time to go do any of that. I had zero interest in being on social media. I had never recorded videos before. I had never edited a video, obviously, or done any of that. Never used Photoshop. I entered as a complete noob, and it was very hard to figure out everything.
Right.
I mean, when it comes to knowing nothing, I literally knew nothing. And at the same time, I also didn't know exactly what I wanted to do as far as video games. I knew reviews were something that I was very interested in for a variety of reasons, which I'll just dive into and kind of let you know how I got started with that. But that's what I do on my channel. I review games,
Right.
New indie games, retro games, the AAA, all of it, all the consoles. And ultimately, and I don't know where you guys stand with this, but throughout the years, it seems like so many of the channels that I would visit or the websites that do game reviews, it feels like I couldn't trust them like I wanted to. Like I felt like I could back in the day. Felt like there's too much kind of agenda-driven stuff when it comes to game reviews. This game's getting a really high score and it's not that good. But this game that is really good is getting a really low score. And it kept happening over and over, and I kept witnessing that. And I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't like this.
That's perfect.
Like I mean, yeah. And so I was like, this is what I should go do. I should review games. This is what I always wanted to do, right?
For sure.
And
you
so
found
that's
that
where I made that decision.
Yeah, you found that you saw something you didn't like in the industry. You're like, how can I make this better? I think I can make this better. Let's make a plan and execute it, and that's perfect, man. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great angle on it, too.
That's how
Just,
it all started.
tell the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, you
Yeah.
actually feel crazy to say something so wild like that. Yeah. It works.
I know.
It's good.
Thanks. And that's kind of how I went, with it. And at the same time, I'm buying my games. Occasionally I'll get review codes. I'm starting to get more, but I buy all my games. And if I get a review code, that's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, but that will never change anything that I have to say, obviously, about the game. And more or less, I looked at it as like, I can't be bought. These companies can't buy me. I went and worked in corporate management for 20 years. I save money. And so I'm going to say what I want to say now on YouTube. And, be honest with everybody, because at the end of the day, this is people's money. This is people's money, and we're instructing people on if they should possibly buy a game or not, and how to spend their money. And I worked in, the financial business for 10 years. So I do take it, even though I'm not in it anymore, I take it very seriously. And I'm never going to steer anyone right in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So I take it very seriously when it comes to reviewing games. I probably take it more serious than most people because of my background. So that's how I got started, guys.
That's awesome, dude.
With the Nintendo Byte podcast. I didn't know Nate at all. He needed an extra. I saw on Twitter, and I had just started following him. And so I was an extra on the podcast, and then he reached out a few more times, and then before you know it, Jake Randall had left the podcast, and he asked if I wanted to be a co-host. And then, the rest is history there. I've been on there for over a year. I've been on there since day one as day one co-host of the Nintendo Byte. And then Mike Odyssey as well with Indie Mania, same thing. I was a co-streamer like you're going to be for Indie Mania. And him and Paul Gale asked if I wanted to be a co-host for it. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, of course. I'm surprised you guys are choosing me. I'm sure there's a lot of options out there where there's channels that are a lot bigger, but cool. Thank you. And so that's kind of my story.
That's awesome, dude. And I'm thankful for Mike for hooking us up together. Oh, that sounds weird. For Mike introducing us on when I was a guest on his show. And we'll have I guess I'll just say it. We'll have Mike on the next show. Next week, we have a surprise special guest is Mike Odyssey. We haven't announced that officially yet, but that's going to happen next week. So we're super happy to have you on this week. Appreciative. And also Mike will be on next week. So it was a fun time with Mike that night. It was a good conversation. I've been on him on his show for a few times. Yeah, I'm a fan of your work, man. I'm a fan of the stash, especially. Most importantly, I'm a fan of the stash.
Yeah, I love the stash.
Thanks, man.
The stash.
Thanks, guys.
Nothing beats a good stash.
Yeah. This is a weird segue because of we were just talking about I can't be bought, and I want to all that conversation, and we're gonna segue to our sponsor of today's episode, which is Savage Raven by Skull and Co. Drip, and you got Drip and I have been talking about Skull and Co. and Savage Raven. Well, not Savage Raven, that's her new name, but we've been talking about Skull and Co. for a long time. They have just now recently changed their name to Savage Raven, and we back this product huge. Like, of course, this is an advertisement, but we love Skull and Co. Savage Raven's products. It's an incredible thing. They got a ton of products that are help you protect your Switch, your new investment. And with a big device like this, with the new 8-inch screen, you're going to need a little bit extra to hold on to. And they also got things like travel cases, their thumbstick grips, which I have been a huge fan of since I ever touched them. I don't use...
Yeah, that's been your jam since
every single
2000.
Controller, everything in my... I kid you not, every controller in my house, PlayStation controller, Switch controller, PC controller, has a Skull & Co. or Savage Raven thumbstick cap on it. I love their stuff. And Drip, I know you have been also, you have more so, have been a bigger Skull & Co. fan than even I have.
Yeah, like even back in the day when it was the Satisfy versus Skull & Co. Which one is better? I mean, Skull & Co. is always my thing. I like the fact that you can change the grips out, get different colors, especially once they start coming out with other colored Joy-Cons. I like to match, and that's kind of a big thing for me. It's comfortable. The Switch 2 version of the Neo Grip it's honestly perfect. The original one for the Switch OLED, it went through some revisions. It did some things that we liked, some things we didn't like, but this one they knocked it out of the park right out of the gate. So I'm super happy with it. I've been using that and the EDC case, the denim one.
That's a sick color. Yeah, I love that denim.
It is. It's very. I'm gonna spray it with some. some bleach. I think.
That's weird. I'm not going to do that to mine.
Good.
I just got this Max carry case in the mail. Thank you, Skull & Co. for sending this out to me, Savage Raven. I got my game cases in here. This is the Max carry case. This is the big thick boy, which is I'm so glad they sent that one because this is my personal favorite. The thick cases. I'm a thick boy. I like my cases like my women, thick. And this thing is incredible. You can fit so much stuff in here. It's a paid advertisement. I can fit my.
Oh yeah.
I can fit my my battery packs that my sugar mama sends me. Got a cable in here. We got the Switch in here. Zip it all up. It's great. And I gotta say too, Drip, if you guys ever used Skull and Co case in the past, these new Savage Raven ones just have a higher level of quality than the original ones, and I mean that. Like I have
they've leveled up.
It's just a level up all together. And you guys can follow. Guys can follow them on social media, of course. Savage Raven, their new name. You can also go to www.savage-raven.com. I believe Skull and Co works as well. Don't worry about typing it in. The link is in the description. Make sure to click that. And don't forget to use code DRIPMedia for 10% off your order. It's not an affiliate link for this show, but it is an affiliate link for Drip. But regardless, you get 10% off for that, for your on their website, which is sick. I got my stick caps for $9, not $10. Very happy about that on their website. So check it out. Thank you, Skull & Co. and Savage Raven for sponsoring today's episode. The weirdest segue and the weirdest ad I think I've ever read. But you know what? That's the kind of thing you're going to expect here at the German G podcast.
It's a great one.
I like to keep I like to keep things interesting here. I don't like the cookie cutter formula boring.
I mean, I'm telling you what. I hope somebody clips that. I like my cases like I like my women.
Yeah, that was
Somebody
good.
clip that, please. That's excellent.
And it's the damn truth. Bushed apple to my heart. It's the truth.
I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah. I'm not the kind of guy who really cares too much about I need the thinnest thing possible. I do not care. As I want it to be functional. And to me, the thick cases are functional. I can fit extra stuff in here. The bigger the grips, the better. I get the big grips on it instead of the small grips. All of this is that which she saidable. We're just gonna walk right all over that.
You just said.
Yeah, we're gonna walk right over that.
I know what you mean, which is weird because I usually use these ones. This is no longer a sponsored segment, but no, it's over. I like the smaller ones. I do like the smaller ones better because I like to be able to put it in a case that even if I'm not using this, I don't want the rest of it on there in case I need to put it in something else. I do like.
And let me guess, you like skinny women too.
Better.
I'm telling you, it goes hand in hand.
Listen,
it's foolproof methodology.
My cases and my but no, okay.
Okay, I
keep
promise.
those two things very separate. All right.
That's the last time I make that joke. I'm sorry. Moving on to the Switch 2 and talking about that for a little bit because of course we've all had the Switch in our hands for the last 2 weeks. Although you two, which I'm very jealous about, have touched it way before that. But for the rest of us normies, we've had this thing in our hands for 2 weeks. I'll start with Steve from Thunderstash. Any thoughts in particular that you want to mention about this thing from your experience for the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, so it's been a great time. I feel like I can't get enough time with it, which is obviously a great thing. I think there's a plethora of games to play right now. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about the launch games or saying it's a weak launch lineup or there's not a lot of games.
Yeah, I've seen that narrative too.
I don't have enough time, man.
Yeah. Like how many games do you need at launch? Honestly, it seems I totally agree with what you're saying. I want to add to it really quickly. How many games, these people that are complaining about, how many do you need at launch? Are you really gonna you need 10, 20, 30 bangers right off the bat? What are you gonna do with that? You're not buying that.
And
why would why would a company want to put that many games out at one time? It doesn't make any sense. All right, go ahead. No. Yeah, I agree.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It's like the movies, right? You're not gonna. All these companies, these studios aren't gonna release all of their movies on the same weekend, so they can cannibalize each other. It makes zero sense. And at the same time, that's been the narrative for some folks that there's not enough games or this or that. It's all right, well, maybe we need to reassess things. One, what does your gaming palette look like? What games do you play? Do you only play one type of game? Do you only play maybe two types and that's why there's not enough for you because you're only playing two? Or do you have a mature gaming palette where you've played, you play all the genres, right? Or nearly all of them. If you do, there's a ton to play on Switch 2. And then I got to ask, are you beating the game? Or are you just playing it and moving on? And I know the answer to that. We all know the answer to that question. And then we can take it a step further. Are you 100%ing it? Are you doing side quests?
Oh yeah.
To the credits as quickly as possible and not even enjoying the ride.
Right.
Right. And those are all the questions that I got asked, because it's like, if you're doing that, then there's plenty to play. There's not enough time to get to everything. And then I think the biggest thing for me, guys, that's been so much fun, and it's been like a game within a game, and that is mining through all the Switch 1 games to see which ones have improved performance without a patch. And it is insane. I have a list I'm working on.
Oh man.
It's been so much fun. So that has been easily the biggest surprise, because all this other, the screen, the Joy-Cons, the HD Rumble 2, all this stuff I was able to cover right thanks to the Switch 2 experience. What's been new for me is the Switch 1 emulation. And this has been, we've never seen anything like this. Like PS2, playing PS1 games on it back in the day, you got a slight resolution boost. And that was nice back in the day, but this is a whole new level. We're going from 30 to 60 FPS in games.
Oh, for sure. Mainly the uncapped ones. The games that, from the Switch 1 games that had uncapped frame rates, on the Switch 1, they typically didn't go above 30 anyway. Maybe they hovered in 40 range sometimes. Maybe sometimes, if you're lucky, you got to 50 frames per second. But those games, typically around 30 FPS regardless, they just had an uncapped frame rate. But those games are the ones that currently benefit on Switch 2. I can't think of any examples right now. Maybe you can, but like there's certain games right now that have uncapped frame rates on the Switch 1 without a patch that work 60 FPS on the Switch 2. Now, it still looks the same. Right? They still look the same. There's no visual upgrades, maybe some minor things that just benefit from pure power. But besides that, they just run better because of that uncapped frame rate. And I wish some companies would get on it a little bit quicker to make some of their Switch 1 games. It's really not a ton they have to do. I'm not a developer. I don't want to speak for them, but I imagine it's not too much to ask to just have them uncap their frame rates for Switch 2. I'm not even sure if that's feasible, because it may mess up what happens on Switch 1. So I don't know how that exactly works. I would just like to see more games get those patches, at least the ones I've tried. Like in particular, there's one in my mind. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, please uncap your frame rate. Please, Koei Tecmo, can you please uncap that frame rate?
Because that one runs fine now, right?
It runs a solid 30 FPS. It's no longer lagging. I played two-player. I played in the last fight in the castle, which is the worst fight of them all with frame rate issues on the Switch 1. I played that in two-player mode, split screen with my fiance, and it was a absolute solid, rock solid 30 FPS. So
I can tell you right now, they are not going to uncap the frame rate on that one, because they are going to sell that to us again in an Ultimate Edition or whatever they want to call it before the next one comes out.
Well, hopefully do that too.
We're going to get that
I don't care what they do.
4K 60.
That'd be great. Do that too.
It's going to be a re-release with all the DLC. I guarantee you that.
Do that too. I don't care. But whatever is first, I don't care. I'll pay for it again. I mean, that's fine. I just want to play that game so bad. I want to play it again on Switch 2.
No, it's good. Listen, as bad as as bad as the frame rate was, the story, I didn't care. The story, I wanted that story so bad. I didn't care how bad the frame rate was. But yes, it would be nice to go back and like be able to see what's happening.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't look very good. That game doesn't look very good on Switch 1, and it doesn't look good on Switch 2 either. It just looks a little grainy and all the above, really. It's not perfect, but yeah.
I'll give you guys a handful real quick, okay? Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. They're all running at 60 FPS now. Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 5, Borderlands 3, Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. All of those are running at 60 FPS now.
That's awesome.
They weren't before. They haven't had a patch. And again, dude, I have a list of games that I had on making
Borderlands
content
3
on.
is running 60?
Yep.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's interesting. They actually took it off the eShop if you have a Switch 2. So if you try and buy it on the eShop with a Switch 2, may have changed, but as of last week, you cannot buy it. It says it's not compatible.
Yeah,
so I went to Walmart, picked up a physical copy, gave it a little test drive. And there is a part pretty early on in the game, at least for me, where the shadows and the lighting get so messed up that you can't even play it. However, other people have been able to get past that part and running in 60. For me, when I was playing early on, it was running 60 FPS and it looked great. So there's a handful of those. What's it called? Automata.
Oh, near Automata, something like that.
Yeah, that was taken down on the Switch 2 eShop as well. But I got that in the mail.
Not compatible.
Physically.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're doing that though, rather than keeping it up, because there is a slight chance there's somebody who's going to buy that on Switch 2 who doesn't understand that it wouldn't work. And how disappointed would you be if you bought that to play in your Switch 2 and it didn't work?
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
It's a fair thing to take it down. I'd rather them do that than leave it up. So just, and I'm sure they're working. They don't want it to be down. They want to make the money. So they're probably just working on it while it's down while they're working on it, and it will go up later is my assumption.
Yeah, that is actually what I found out as well, is that they're working on a patch to fix that up and to have it running optimally on Switch 2, which, I took that as, okay, we're probably going to get a Switch 2 patch for that. So it's stuff like that, man, that's been so much fun, though.
Yeah.
Just to circle back.
For sure.
That's what I've enjoyed probably most, outside of obviously playing the games, is trying to find out which games are going to run better on Switch 2, because there's a lot more games than I think we all anticipated that have unlocked frame rates that were never advertised as such. There's that in the games also with dynamic resolution.
Yeah.
Like The Witcher 3 has dynamic resolution and it looks considerably better on Switch 2.
Yeah, I haven't played it myself. I did see some stuff people playing. It looks a ton. That was one I was really pumped on when it came out too. I was really excited about that being on Switch. And it was cool because it was there. But I mean, as far as it goes, like as a game, it was not quite there. That's one I would actually like to go back and play on Switch 2 again.
Yeah, same here. I'm excited. Kingdom Come Deliverance is another one as well. That one is running at a higher frame rate now. I think it's hovering around like 31, 32, and before was in the sometimes low to mid 20s. And the resolution has got a nice boost. The colors look better. That's one thing I've seen across the board, is that the colors just look considerably better as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's been fun, man.
Yeah, and circling back a little bit to that, you made that initial you're not your personal comment, but you were saying how that's kind of a narrative right now where people are saying there's not, where are the games? Not enough games at launch. And yeah, I mean, technically the only two brand new games are currently available that from Nintendo are Mario Kart and that and the Tour game, whatever, I forget what it's called. Welcome Tour.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're not going to talk about Welcome Tour in this episode. I know it's polarizing one way or the other. I'm having a good time with it when I play it. I imagine you probably are too as well, Steve.
I just posted my review.
Okay, I haven't checked it out yet.
Sunday, yeah. So
yeah, I
played through the whole thing.
Yeah, I know it's not worth $10. I mean, it depends. The worth part, I'm actually going to get to that in terms of Mario Kart World in a bit. The worth part of it, the worth it is really person to person. In terms of should they have charged, yes. my opinion, no, they should not have charged $10. That's my opinion, but they did, and it is what it is. It works. Again, we're not talking about this game. What I want to talk about is that narrative and how that's one of the reasons I wanted to get a Switch 2 at launch, is because I was chomping at the bit to play the games I already had, this massive library. Like Steam Deck fans in particular love to talk about how their huge Steam library is on the Steam Deck. That's like the thing they always talk about. Look, my huge Steam library from years of PC gaming is on my Steam Deck. Nintendo, you suck. And it is fair.
Fair point.
It is fair. But now it's not even being talked about as a talking point with the Switch 2. That's such where everyone's missing that entirely. Is like, but we've had 8 years of Switch titles that we've been building up. I know it's not
insane.
It's not. I know it's not the decades of Steam game, however long Steam been a thing. I know it's not that long, but it's still 8 years
there's
of
thousands of games.
Thousands, yes,
there's literally thousands of games. I mean,
I have literally hundreds of Switch games.
Not all of them are amazing.
Right.
Some of them you want to stay away from. But I mean,
Right.
there are really good games on the system, and especially now that you have something that can play them a lot better. Yeah, I mean that's something that is pretty attractive to a lot of people.
Including me.
Yeah, the Switch library is great. It's an amazing library. Like, it's really good. Yeah, there's some absolute shit on the eShop, but
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff too.
Indeed. And I've just been having fun playing Mario Kart with the community and my fiance, and also having fun with Welcome Tour, like I said, on occasion. You know, I haven't beat it yet. I'm not gonna probably be 100%ed per se, but I actually might, because I might be too addicted to the 100%. Banner that I might just want to get it. There's so many good Easter eggs in it, and I do want to digest them all. But besides that, I'm most excited to try out my old games, including the big ones, Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and Breath of the Wild. I finished the DLC in Breath of the Wild, which I hadn't done yet. I finished it on the Switch too, which was an incredible experience. Finally got to ride that bike around. It's been a ton of fun. So worth it. And Tears of the Kingdom, I just started a new playthrough on that. Tears of the Kingdom. I want to start from the beginning and just go through it all. And that's what I've been most excited for, and it's here. Like, I got this huge library on Switch that I can now play way better, with a way better experience, some with patches, some without. I'm just so excited about that. And
dude, I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy too. I played some of it on PS5, but then I was like, dude, this is gonna be on Switch too. I'm just stopping.
Same.
And I'm glad I did, because now I just got back to where I was, and I'm starting like into the new stuff that I haven't seen yet. So I'm really excited about that. And it runs pretty good. It's got some weird, there's something happened the other night. I actually recorded it and put it in the Discord, because I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what just happened? So I'm in this shop and I'm going to leave, and I go to the door, and like around the door, there's just nothing. I could see outside, like all around the edges of the door, but like big, thick areas. Like, that's weird. Like, why is that like that? And then I touch the door and more stuff appears outside. I'm like, oh, okay, something's wrong here. And then I turn around and look at the shop I just came out of, and the only thing standing is the door. The entire front of the shop is gone. I could just see inside. I was like, oh, all right. That's a hell of a bug. I don't know what's happening here. And it's had some other spots where it's just like randomly. It doesn't seem like there's anything crazy going on, but it'll just randomly tank the frame rate and the resolution, like down to like, I mean, awful.
Wow.
Awful. It only lasts for like 5 seconds, but then it comes right back. But it doesn't seem to have any like rhyme or reason why it does it. I hope they fix it, but other than that, it's been great. My point is, other than that, yeah, it's been a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
In handheld, it's been really, really good. In docked, it looks excellent. That's one of the ones I played up there in New York too. That was one of the ones I was like, yeah, glad I waited. Very glad I waited.
Yeah, the glitches are happening. I'm actually having some glitches with Fortnite every now and again. I think today my session was about 2 hours long, and I didn't have any glitches, luckily. But I've been having, the first time I played Fortnite on it, and the second time, both handheld and docked, it's having some glitches, some issues, some bugs. I think it's to be expected with these early games. I mean, especially these first editions, if you will. Like, Fortnite is a first edition on Switch too. I don't know if it's a 1.0, but it's an early edition, and Hogwarts as well it's a made from the ground up game. It's not just a patch. Like, it's its own game on Switch too. So it's just, I think it's to be expected to have some of these glitches and issues, especially in this modern day.
Hogwarts Legacy had issues on other platforms, like weird stuff like that anyway, didn't it?
Yeah, I've had issues on PS5 with it. Yeah,
It did.
Okay,
Yep.
so it's right on par with the rest, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
actually, I played on PC and I had issues with it on PC as well. So yeah, it's had issues.
Okay, well, there you go. So see, I have no problem. Never mind. It's perfect. It's running exactly as it
Part of
does
the charm.
everywhere else.
Yeah. I want to just talk about a few hardware things for a moment here before we talk about Mario Kart World. But the hardware itself, I mean, Steve, what are your thoughts on the hardware? I mean, I'll say quickly, I love it. I think it's such an upgrade. I think our friend Jeff Rodvani in the chat had put it best in his videos and in our chat. He said it makes the Switch One feel like a toy, basically.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually. You know, I'm very impressed by it. You know, when I first saw the screen in person, I was impressed with how great it looked. I had Switch on day one, of course. I got the OLED, and obviously I love the OLED just like everyone else. And I know that when the LCD screen was, you know, announced and confirmed for Switch 2, the community was very concerned about what the quality was going to be like. But you know, one thing that I always kept saying, and I'm sure a lot of you guys did, is that the technology for LCD screens has really come a very long way since the Switch 1 LCD screen. And seeing it in person again, and seeing is believing. It's a beautiful screen. The colors pop. It's much bigger. Obviously, you got the 120 hertz VRR. It looks beautiful.
Yep.
So the screen itself is great. The Joy-Cons, huge improvement. I didn't love using a Nitro deck, but I felt like the Joy-Cons just dug into the palms of my hands, right?
Just the size they were, yeah.
Yeah. And so with the Switch 2, it feels considerably better. Huge fan of the Switch 2 Pro controller.
Oh,
I
yes.
I love the Pro controller, right? On Switch 1. Who didn't?
You're right.
I think we all loved it. But, you know, when I did my Switch 2 videos, I had mentioned that it feels different. Like, it doesn't feel like this, like, cheap. I don't say it's cheap, but the standard plastic we're used to, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It doesn't feel like the standard plastic.
Yeah, it feels different. And obviously, it feels very good. And the HD Rumble 2 has improved considerably. And if you play the Switch 2 Welcome Tour, you learn about that in great detail, and it all makes even more sense. But yeah, from a hardware standpoint, all of that is extremely impressive. Again, the DLSS was something that I was very excited for, just knowing how DLSS works. And, you know, it's not a foreign concept to me, which I think for a lot of the casual crowd, DLSS is a foreign concept. They may not know what exactly that entails and how it will translate to a better experience.
Right.
And just seeing what we've seen so far, like, again, Cyberpunk meant a lot to play that at the Switch 2 experience, because as we all know, for anyone who's been gaming for a long time, is that the games that you get at the beginning of a console launch versus what you're going to get a few years down the road, sometimes is a night and day difference, right? In quality and in performance. And to know that we were able to get this on day one, what are we going to get a couple years down the road? And also, what are we going to get when the DLSS upgrades? Because that's upgradable. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. So I am impressed from, you know, top to bottom. As far as the battery life, you know, again, I don't play a lot in handheld mode. If I do, though, I am going to most likely be near electricity. I am not going to be out in the forest, you know, playing The Legend of Zelda under a tree where there's nowhere to plug in my Switch 2.
You mean like those Nintendo commercials? You know, you're not going to be on an airplane, you know, upside down riding a bike.
Well, yeah, but I'll tell you this: my lady just went out to Oregon, and she's got a Switch 2 as well. And I have Michaela playing Fantasy Life on Switch 2 for review. So she's going to write the full review.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. I should have. Yeah. That's a great idea. My fiance can beat a game in 12 hours. She can beat any game in 12 hours. She just binges the crap out of it. I'll just have her write the review for me, and I'll just turn it into video.
Yeah, I was like, let's team up on this, because we were actually going to. We got a few extra ones. Switch 2s. One went to my cousin, one went to one of my friends, and then we had one more extra, and it was the one from Nintendo, because I had to get that in order to get the GameCube controller when they sent me the invitation. And so we were more or less like, okay, maybe we return this. And then we decided, I kind of decided, it's like, well, what if you review some games? What if you start reviewing games? Then this would make sense for you to actually keep the Switch 2. You can play games like Fantasy Life, Animal Crossing, all the cozy stuff the games that don't have a an actual ending that I don't have time to play. Although I'd like to, I can't do that, right? Because I got to review other games. So that worked out very well. But I will say that I sent her with my power bank here. Her flight got delayed so many times on the way home. She was supposed to be home at 9 p.m. She didn't walk in the door until 4:30 the next day in the morning. Several hours. But I said, hey, were you able to play the Switch too? The whole time I'm curious, like had the power bank work out? And it worked out great. In fact, she posted up at a bar there with other people who were delayed and used all the controllers and played Mario Kart World and kickstand mode. I'm like, beautiful.
Dude, that's awesome. That is awesome. That's what it's all about right there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. So that's the thing. If I'm going to be away from power bank, guys, power bank, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys have power banks you use.
Get yourself a max carry case from channel sponsor Skull and Co Savage Raven. And you put it in the bottom of the case.
It does fit in the bottom.
With a power bank and a cable. You never got to think about it. It's just right there.
Yeah,
that's what.
It works for everything. Charge your controllers. Charge your phone. Charge your Switch. Whatever you need to do. Yeah. Easy. And then battery life.
That's like a real life Switch commercial. That was a real life Switch commercial. I just posted up at the bar. Everybody's like, yeah.
Yeah, she FaceTimed
Nintendo
me.
is hidden somewhere filming the whole thing. You're going to see it on TV in like 2 months.
I totally felt that way.
Commercial.
Yeah, she FaceTimed me and was like, hey, how do I get this controller to sync up? And then, she kind of zooms out and she's like, oh, here's everyone, that I'm hanging out with that I just met. We're all friends now playing Mario Kart. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is awesome. This totally does feel like a commercial.
Hey, let's touch on this real quick because Andrew Reynolds in the chat brings up a good point. I have not played with it yet, but some people are reporting that the Joy-Con controller converter adapter thing, whatever you want to call it, that comes with your Switch 2 standard, digs into your hands. And I can see what they mean. I don't have it with me to show, but I can see what they mean because the way it's designed, it's different because they left the front flat to accommodate the sidewards injection of the Joy-Cons, whereas last gen they came from the top, so you can keep it perfectly spherical and bulbous. This is
the grip, the controller
grip. Yes, the Joy-Con grip.
Okay.
Yeah,
I haven't used. Where is it?
Have you guys, Steve? Have you used it?
Well, so I used it at the Switch 2 experience, and right when you walk in and you play Mario Kart for the first time, right? They handed us the grip one, and for me, I never used that on Switch 1. So they handed it to me. I'm just thinking oh man, I got to use this. This kind of I wish I could use a better controller, but hey, whatever.
Didn't they have the ones in New York that they had the charge ones that had the buttons on the back too?
Yeah, they did.
Because I thought that's what came with the Switch. Yeah, that was cool. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that's really awesome that they're including that. And then I opened it up and I'm like, oh, they're not. Oh, I was like, oh man, I was so disappointed. I was like, that's such a really cool thing to have. And I looked like, oh, never mind.
That's a bummer for two reasons.
Get that.
Bummer for one reason is that it's kind of just creating some e-waste because if you really are going to use that grip, you want to get the charge grip. So you're going to get that one and you're going to have this e-waste now that you're not going to use. Because maybe you can use it as a player too, but who's really doing that? And it's $40. Just please, I know money's tight these days. I get it. I never want to advocate for anybody going broke, but good God, don't spend $40 on any. Don't even think about buying one of those. Please just buy this Pro controller. Save your money. If you're going to buy that for $40, save the extra $50 to get this one. Because good God, it's not even close. This thing is so good.
Easy recommendation.
Yes, it is never. It's
as far as controllers go, it's the new bar.
Yes, I never recommended anything as much as this controller, and it's expensive, and this is probably the most expensive thing that I've ever recommended. It's an easy. It's just please buy this. Don't even think about it.
That was probably my biggest takeaway from New York. I came back. I told Jeeb, I was like, dude, that controller, something is up with that. I don't know what is in those sticks, but whoa, man, something is up.
Are you familiar?
That was my takeaway.
Are you familiar, Thunderstats, with the sticks on this thing in terms of what's inside? Because Drip and I actually covered that a couple weeks ago, or last week, I think.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I've seen the
what's in there,
teardown.
how
Yeah.
it works.
Isn't that crazy how it's
Crazy.
rubber, the rubber, the cloud, pillowy feeling that we're feeling is like rubber underneath? It's just magical.
Yeah, and you learn about all this stuff too in the welcome tour.
I need to get to that point. I've only gotten to the screen part. I really need to get more into it. I want to
Yeah,
learn about it.
It was fun again, it's a game that's not for everybody, right? But for the people who really enjoy that sort of thing and learning, there's a lot to learn there. There's a lot of surprising things.
I'll say one thing that I've learned that just from a Twitter post, not playing the game myself. I learned that in Welcome Tour they explain how the controller was designed with the GameCube controller in mind. Is that something you can confirm from the game?
Yes, they did say that, which
that's
is great because we all love the GameCube controller, right?
It's so ergonomic. I love that controller. I really do. The GameCube.
Great.
And this one, I wouldn't say I would have noticed it without them telling me, but I can see it now that they've told me. Like, yeah, kind of the sticks are kind of in that like GameCube realm, and yeah, I mean, I can see what they're getting at there. I mean, I wonder if the original Pro controller was also with the GameCube controller in mind, because it is very similar. Of course, it's nearly identical to that. So I wonder if both controllers were inspired by it. I don't know.
I do wonder now too.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talked about battery. Yeah. The last thing I want to do in hardware before we move on to the question of the night, Mario Kart. I want to talk about this HDR thing because I actually was somebody who was like defending the HDR on the Switch screen probably before I should have. And let me just say this first off. It's not that it's bad. Some people out there are saying it is bad. I'm not saying it's bad. The screen certainly is not bad. I mean, you talked about the screen earlier.
The
screen's great.
Good. Yeah.
1080p is crisp, good colors, like you said. There's really no complaints. If you compare it to an OLED screen, you're gonna see some differences, and you're gonna be like, huh.
Yeah.
But if you're not sitting there being a dumb comparing them, like there's no need to do that because that's not how gaming.
We already know it's not OLED. Just
there's no need to. You're not while you're playing your game. You're not worrying about, oh man, but if I picked up the OLED instead, it would. No, you're not worrying about that. As you're playing it, it looks phenomenal, and plus the sharpness of it all kind of makes up for it. If I'm my own opinion, it really depends on your taste and how much you value deeper blacks and whatnot. The sharpness makes up for it. It's so good. One complaint though. HDR on TV mode is questionable. Drew and I might cover this in a video in the future because he and I actually watched a video at the same time last night without knowing
our
it.
YouTube algorithms are the same algorithm.
It's the same algorithm.
I tell him about something. He's like, that's crazy. I just watched that same, and it's not even like gaming stuff. I was like, dude, I watched this channel. This guy, he's from Pittsburgh, and he does like woodworking and stuff. He's like, you talking about John Malecki? I'm like, yes. Why? How? Why? He's like, I just started watching him. I was like, I've been watching him for years. Our algorithms are the same algorithm somehow. I don't know how, but YouTube gives us both the same exact things. Anyway, I sent him a video last night where a guy's breaking down how to fix the HDR on your TV and all this crazy stuff. And I don't even know. I don't even know what he was saying. Like half of it, I was like,
it was pretty nerdy, even for me. I didn't quite understand everything he was saying. One thing I did understand, which I'm not saying is wrong, but he was like, one way you can fix the HDR in TV mode is just get a new TV. And I'm like,
okay, I watched that too.
I'm like, excuse me, what? Did you just say? Did you just tell people to throw people's TV? I looked at my fiance Abby because we were sitting here together watching it, and I'm like, did he just say to throw your TV out?
He said a few things in that video that I had to be like, wait a second. Wait, what? What did you just say?
Yeah.
Did he just say that for real?
From a technical standpoint, I'm sure he's right on. He seemed like he knew what he was talking about. I wouldn't know. I'm not nearly that nerdy and definitely not knowledgeable in HDR.
If he didn't, he was convincing. That's for sure. If that was all bullshit, I
agree.
Fooled me.
By no means should anybody throw their TVs away unless you're using like a really old like 1080p panel from 10, 15 years. Maybe in that case, I'd tell you to upgrade your TV. That really depends on your funds, really. But there's probably a reason why you're using such an old TV in the first place. But if you got like a modern 4K television, there is no need to upgrade to anything with Switch 2. The best use case you're going to get with Switch 2 is the resolution. HDR is secondary. Every TV is going to run 60 FPS. No worries about that. No need to upgrade to 120 FPS at all, especially right now. So yeah, don't listen to that guy. I mean, he was onto something, and that's not what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about TV mode HDR because, I don't think it's as good. I did I did notice. Yeah, the HDR is pretty good in TV mode. It looks great. Don't get me wrong, it looks great. But being critical about it, I can see it needs room for improvement. Maybe some patches Nintendo could send our way to make the HDR experience better in TV mode.
Like
but it's not
biggest
bad.
thing is like the controls, like the way that you adjust it.
Yeah, it is finicky. It's finicky.
Because I didn't even go into those menus. Honestly, I'm just trying to get it to look good.
Right.
Going out OBS into YouTube, I just turned the HDR off. I'm like,
dude,
it's too much. I can't. It's not even possible, man.
No.
I just turned it off. Even today, I set all this stuff up again, and OBS just started like displaying it as like this crazy, like washed out, like blown out color. I'm like, what is happening? And then I restarted the computer, and all of a sudden it was just fine again. I'm like, what? What is
Makes
this?
no
like,
sense.
Why is that a thing?
I don't know. I spent probably too much time trying to calibrate it, just like you, and ended up walking away thinking like it's not ready for prime time. Whatever it is, if it's the Switch, OBS, if it's the capture card, I have a Elgato 4KX, so the best portable one you can get. And between all of that, it's like they're not communicating properly with each other because these colors look washed out, blown out. You can't even tell that that's sand on the Koopa Troopa beach level. Like it looks like just a sun reflection coming off the sand. And I'm like, this is not ideal at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm having trouble with frame rates with my capture card too.
Mm-hmm.
If my capture card does 4K 60, but if I put it in 4K, the Switch just automatically starts outputting to the I don't know if it's the capture card having trouble with what it is, but it just goes to 30 frames a second. Like, even if I can go back down to 1080, it's right back to 60. Everything's fine. But if I bump it up to 4K or even 1440, it's just like 30.
Yeah.
I cannot figure out what's happening.
Yeah,
I even asked, it's a Genki capture card. It's one of their
Shadowcast.
I mean, it's a nice, the Shadowcast Pro 2, whatever it is. Yeah.
I have it.
And I am in contact with them because I review their stuff, and I emailed the guy at my contact there, and he's like, that is weird. That should not be happening. He's like, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, I have no clue why that would be happening. It shouldn't happen. So I
feel like a lot of stuff needs firmware updates. Like a lot of the things we use, the accessories, for instance, I have a 8-bit Super Nintendo 30th anniversary Pro controller.
Yeah.
The one I have doesn't have a firmware update yet. Some of them do though. But like I went to go update it yesterday and it's not ready yet. There's just it seems like some of the things we're gonna just have to wait a little bit for because none of these accessory companies got the Switch too early. So they're all working to scramble to get firmware out now. So it's been very interesting because I don't think we've really experienced this before with a console launch where things weren't ready from an accessory standpoint.
Yeah. While we're on the topic here, let's talk about quickly docks and third-party docks are all not working. It's a big issue. Like I was telling Drip when we the first podcast we did on Switch 2, I have this nice SNES dock, like NES style dock that's a 4K 60 dock meant for like Steam Deck and handheld PCs and whatnot. I have it like perfectly set. I had it all here for a month, 2 months, like waiting for me to plop the Switch 2 in it.
Glued it to the top of your computer.
I double adhesive it to the top of my computer. It's perfect. And I plugged the Switch 2 in it, and it like, boom, 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 boom. The Place Is Right sound played because it just didn't work. And I'm like, yep, wrong one. Yep. There you go. So yeah, I was very disappointed. I'm like, man, if I want to play the PC, I gotta bring the dock back and forth. Yeah, speaking of broken things, they need to fix this dock issue. Like third parties,
There's
please.
a lot of little things like
and I don't think I'm gonna get it firmware on this thing. I don't even know what the brand this thing is. Like is this Genki Drip?
It's I know it's
It probably is written Gully Kit. It's Gully Kit. It's Gully Kit, right?
That's the one I sent you, right?
Yeah, it's Gully Kit, right?
No, it's not Gully Kit.
No,
It's it's
whatever. Hopefully,
they make the purple I'll let you know.
Whatever.
What
Hopefully, it's a name brand that they will support it and give us a firmware update for it. Give me a firmware update because I really want to use it with Switch 2. But that is disappointing that like most docks, and I think actually every dock is not working.
So far, I think it's all of them. I'm in contact right now with BenQ.
Okay.
Because I reviewed their GR10 mobile dock, and it's 120 hertz HDMI 2.1. I was given full confirmation prior to reviewing it a few months ago that it will work with Switch 2. Of course, it doesn't. So
Right.
I've been in contact with them. They are working as quickly as possible on a firmware update so the dock will work. But yeah, across the board, I don't know of any third-party dock right now that works.
Yeah, I was in contact with the company. I can't. Ant something. I don't know what it is, but they were asking me if I wanted to test their Switch 2 dock, and I was like, "Yes, send it." Like, I got a big pile of stuff. I'll throw it in the pile. We'll definitely check it out. It hasn't made it here yet, but they told me it was a Switch 2 dock, and I'm like, I want to see what that thing is when it gets here because I don't think it's gonna work, and I don't think they knew when they told me they were sending it that it wasn't gonna work either. So. But I think, Jeeb, actually, you're the one you showed me. Was that last night?
It was last night, yeah.
It's the same one. Somebody got it, did a video on it, and it like works sometimes. Like
the guy in the video frames it like it works, no problem. The comments were like, "I got this thing, it doesn't work. I got this thing, it doesn't work." You look he has an Amazon link, and you click on that link, look at the Amazon reviews for it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know.
I know it's coming from China. I don't know how long it's going to take to get here. That was weeks ago. So
yeah,
when it shows up, it's getting jumped up to the very top of the list of all of this stuff because I'm very interested to see what happens with that.
Yeah. All right. Again, going backwards again to HDR because I want to talk about this specific thing.
Yes.
The Switch 2 screen HDR. That I gotta say, I defended it. I was like, 400 nits is going to do it. I think it's going to be fine. I think that's what it's rated for. The screen. I think it's 400 nits, which people are like, that's not people are like, that's not enough. Whatever the number is, people are like, that's not enough. You need at least this. And I was like, yes, true. I understand how HDR, you need more bright, you need a higher nit display for HDR. I get it, but it's going to be fine. I'm like, there's no way. And I get this thing in my hands in the first couple of days. I'm like, this is fine. It's great. Looks great. But then that was just
it does, it does.
I'm talking isolating the HDR, okay, just specifically the HDR.
Gotcha.
But after the first few days, after the honeymoon was kind of over with it in terms of like everything about it can't go wrong. I was playing handheld Fortnite, of course, in HDR mode, and my fiance was playing HDR on PS5. Now, granted, PS5 way better experience in general with Fortnite and most games that are the same on Switch. So that's not news to anybody, but I was noticing, and I don't have a particularly high expensive display. It's a TCL 4K TV. It does do 120 hertz, but it's not exactly high quality. It's TCL. It's a budget brand. I don't know what the nits count on it, but it's a lot higher than the Switch screen. I'll tell you that. And I was watching her play it on the PS5. And again, we're looking at HDR. I know everything else is better, but the HDR, the brightest brights and the lowest lows, it looks better on the PS5, like significantly better. And this is a budget display. So the Switch 2's display, actually, funny, the Switch 2 costs more than my TV for sure, like no doubt. So that's a fact. So the HDR on the TV is way better. And like I'm like watching her play Fortnite, watching me play Fortnite. Oh God, like that is, again, comparison is a thief of joy. But when you compare it, it's like, and I cannot see it ever since. It's dim. It is dim. There are times at night when I want to crank at night in a dark room, or I find myself cranking the brightness more than I would with my previous devices. I'm like, ugh.
Really? See, I don't have that problem with it. I don't think the HDR is all that great, but like, I feel like the screen, as far as like playing inside, I have not taken it outside. I have not taken it outside.
It's not going to do well. I can tell you right now, it's not going to do well outside. It's not going to do well.
I mean, inside, I haven't had a problem with the brightness. I think it's fine. Like, I don't know. The screen looks good enough.
I don't want to get it lost. I do think it's an acceptable display. I think it's exceptional in certain regards. I think the sharpness, the colors are really good for the LCD that it has. Of course, the VRR is fantastic. You can't get a display like this unless you spend hundreds more dollars on a PC handheld. This is the best display on a handheld in its ballpark, hands down. It's pound for pound, if you will.
Yep.
that aside, it's still worth noting this display could use an upgrade in the future. It's no doubt. It needs. This is acceptable. This will get the job done in terms of HDR, and everything else is great. It's just I wish the display was a bit better. It's like my biggest criticism of the hardware. It could be a bit.
Says the bezel's already catching my eye.
Yeah.
That ain't good.
Big bezels. I don't mind. The bezels don't bother me. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys expect it as much as I do, that there will obviously be an upgraded Switch 2 down the road with a better screen. And you know, you can't give us the best to start with, because one, they do have a roadmap. They always do for upgrades. We've seen it for decades with the XL and DS and the 3DS. We've seen this all across the board. Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP. There's always a game plan and a strategy for Nintendo, but at the same time, you have to get the pricing right in order for sure, everyone to be able to purchase this, which is why we don't have the best screen right now. So it'll be fixed in time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm interested to see what they do with the light this time. I'm interested to see if they go a little bit more in on the light this time, and when they do whatever upgrade they do, if they go and do the upgrade to the light, or just wait and do an upgraded light with the new upgraded thing instead of doing the light first this time. That's what I'm interested to see what they do with that, because I mean, I know it didn't sell as well as the OLED, didn't sell as well as the original, obviously, but I mean, the light, that form factor, in my opinion, that's the way to go. If I could get that, but just a little bit bigger, like, I don't need the Joy-Cons to come off. I don't need that. I love the light. I mean, bigger screen, just a tiny bit bigger, I'd be all in. Give me an OLED on that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. A light OLED. That's an idea.
Yeah.
I made one. I put an OLED screen in a light, and then I gave it to G.
You didn't give it to me.
No, he's got it.
It wasn't a gift.
Oh, I didn't give it to him, but okay, he has it now. But to me, that was the ultimate Switch. Just the light form factor with a really nice OLED screen. It was good.
Did you use that kit that was being sold?
Yeah.
I'd seen some footage of that, and I was like, damn, that looks amazing.
That screen lit. Yeah, that OLED screen puts the one in the OLED
to shame.
The dirt.
I got it in the house now.
Man.
I got it in the house now. Oh my god. The black, the blacks
really
are
good OLED
space
screen.
Black. Like, it is the dark, the void of space. How black the screen is, and when you look at the OLED has like issues with green tinting a little bit, and the Switch OLED, and you can really tell the tints of different the hues of different colors and the blacks on that screen when you compare it. Again, you never want to do that, but if you're trying to enjoy your stuff,
the color accuracy on that panel is like.
It's bad.
Unbelievable. It's really good.
The upgrade kit, yes.
Yeah, I waited forever for it too. And then when it finally came, I live streamed the whole thing, putting it in there, which was nerve-wracking, but I did it. And oh my god, yeah, if I ever get a light again, I'm gonna do the same thing. It's well worth it. I just hope they just do it. Give me the power of the Switch 2 with an OLED screen and a light form factor. That's what I want. Either way, like whatever they do next, we're going to get upgrades. You're 100% right about that. They can't give us the OLED Super Switch first. Because, I mean, another thing about that, too, like you said, price. Like, they've got to wait for like things to be affordable. And, as we go 2-3 years into the future, things do come down in price as far as things they can get to use in their manufacturing processes and stuff. That's just the way things go. I don't think this screen's bad, though. I know the HDR is like the thing, whatever. Like, I don't even care that much about HDR. If I'm being honest, I don't really care about it all that much. From the moment I saw this screen in person, I was like, yes, okay. I don't have any worries anymore. I don't care. And it's going to be awesome. In 2-3 years when they say, here's the OLED, like, cool. I'll be ready for it at that point. But for now, like, it's not like we got this. I mean, the Switch 1 screen, like, let's all just take a step back and maybe look at our Switch 2s and then go back and look at our original Switch 1 screen, and let's just be thankful for what we have. I think we're doing okay at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. interest of time, we're running a little bit long tonight, so it's been a great conversation, Steve. We're not going to end it or anything, but just want to highlight. We're probably going to cancel the pre-show tonight, guys. So we'll just we're going to roll with the rest of the the after show. Yes, so we're going to roll with the last topic and then sign off with you guys. But the last topic is the main topic, and that is Mario Kart World. We'll get to the price, but before we do that, let's just talk about it. And I want to start with Steve, of course. Like, what do you think of this open world concept in general? And like, what are some of your favorite things you've noticed about it since playing it, in your hands instead of like, owning it instead of playing it in New York?
Yeah, so I do love the open world concept. I think there's a lot to do, especially if you're the type of person who explores in video games. You don't try and run through it. You look for all the secrets. You look for, secret areas. You want to get all the P switches, right? All the question blocks. You want to find areas that nobody else has. I think for that person, which again, that's me, there's so much to love here. I'm a huge fan of video game music. I always have been.
Oh yeah.
And this is just this is peak, man. Like if they come out, they probably
good.
won't.
It is very
They came out with a CD,
It'll be on Nintendo Music. It'll be on the Nintendo Music app soon.
I would buy it, right?
Oh, yeah.
If they came out with an album, I'd totally buy that.
Yeah.
But man, the soundtrack is just absolutely phenomenal. Knockout Tour again. Absolutely love it.
That's my favorite.
It's a game changer. When I played it at the experience, that was my immediate takeaway. I even said it in my video, like when I was there, that this is a game changer. This is what's going to change the game for everybody. I'm confident in that. And so, sure enough, that's happened. I think everyone's probably on the same page there with the Knockout Tour. One thing I did is with, Michaela, she was out of town. She brought the Switch 2 with her, docked with the camera. And I used my camera. And we played Mario Kart. Michaela, her dad, and we played for hours. But it was so much fun to just have like the camera and to be able to see her while she's out of town and see her dad. And for me to be at home and, shit talking each other the whole time on game chat. I'm like, this is great. Now, obviously, there have been ways to do this before, but it's the simplified aspect of it, right? I don't need to see your gameplay. That's not what I'm going for here, right? You don't need to screen share. We're playing the same game. What I think is cool is just being able to see the other person, to have your face right over the cart.
Yeah.
Yes.
And really just to shit talk each other while you're playing.
Yeah.
Like that is very fun. That is classic Mario Kart, right?
Mm-hmm. On the couch. Yeah. Talking shit to your brother or your sister. Yeah, whatever. Yes.
So for me, that was a great time. But I guess to circle back, as far as like the open world concept, what I think is going to happen, and I think it's just a matter of time, just only a matter of when, not if. Yeah, I think this is going to be an open worlds concept. I don't think this is the only world. I think there will be more. This is an evergreen title. Been saying it for a long time that I think Mario Kart is going to be the driver. Yeah, I think 100%.
He says the same thing. He's like, there's going to be more. There's going to be more. I'm like, yes, that's okay.
Yeah, this is my mindset. Like, you look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and you look at the DLC we got and the IP that it introduced.
Yeah.
Now, we look at Switch 2. It's the pack-in title. 70% of Switch 2s that were produced were bundles. The other 30 was non-bundle. To me, Nintendo wants to use Mario Kart World as not only the evergreen title, but the driver to advertise their other IP. So when a new game comes out, right? Like when we get Zelda, probably next year, I could see Mario Kart World getting a Zelda Cup. When X game releases down the road, just fill in the blank of Nintendo IP. Once
Splatoon
again.
4.
Yeah, it's going to get a cup now. I wouldn't say it's going to turn into like Smash Brothers Kart, because I think the IP is going to stay in house. I don't think it's really going to branch out to third parties. At the most, maybe Bandai Namco, because of the connections that there is with Bandai Namco. But as far as Nintendo, I think this is how Nintendo is going to advertise new games coming out, new IP. Anytime a new game comes out, and say, for instance, Donkey Kong, like tomorrow, I would not be surprised at all if we get a Donkey Kong Cup. I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of the 30-day.
And of course, Diddy
promotion.
Kong. Diddy Kong, right? New character.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've told
course.
Joey Pitts that as well in the chat before on our podcast, that this is what I expect. This is how Nintendo advertises. And look, 70% again. If you look at the numbers for obviously Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, what are we at? 65 about million on Nintendo
Yep,
Switch. That's how many
about
people
right.
want it.
Yep.
Okay. You're advertising to 65 million people directly. That beats a Nintendo Direct. That beats a commercial. Commercials cost a lot of money. A lot of people don't watch that much TV, or they're watching stuff on Netflix or somewhere else where all you're seeing is, ads for prescriptions. There's no video game ads, right? So this is how you penetrate the market, in my opinion, and you grow your other IP. I think that's what's going to happen. And it's going to be Mario Kart Worlds. Yeah, I'm excited for it. And I think that's how the $80 is justified. But again, justifying it right now, we're only about
2 weeks.
2 weeks in. Yeah. I think the game we have today is going to look drastically different by the end, in the same way Mario Kart 8 was drastically different by the time it ended on Switch.
Yeah, I think that is, I think you're right about that. I am for $80. I just think that a large portion of whatever it is they put in should be free. Like, I understand if later down the road, if they want to do like they did and like double up the game with whatever, like something huge like they did with the DLC
Like the
they did at the end
pass,
for 8. Yeah. Like that's okay. Because they also put a bunch of stuff. Well, the game didn't cost $80 either. But at this point now, I am going to be upset if we start seeing DLC that costs money anytime soon. Like down the road, years from now, okay.
Sure.
But there better be a hefty amount of free content coming to this. That's my opinion on the whole $80 thing. At this point, I think I like your idea a lot. I love that. I see what they're doing with this and how maybe they could justify like that this is why it's $80. I see it now. I do see it now. I don't really like the fact that it's $80, but at least I can see it. Like you said.
Yeah.
I started finally going out and playing like the single player stuff, like just creeping around trying to find P switches, seeing what I can find. Like, even if you're somebody who's like, no, $80 is too much. Like, you start roaming around, you're like, damn, like there's a lot of shit going on. Like, there's so much. Like, the two things I did first were I wanted to unlock Rainbow Road. So I needed to do all the cups. So I did that. And then I wanted to make sure I got all the carts at least. And then the rest of the stuff can come as we go here. But I did all that. And then the other day I really started like messing around. I was telling Jeeb, like really going around the world. I was like, dude, there's a lot here. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, there's nothing here, nothing there. Like, you're not looking. Like, you're not looking close. If you don't find something to do, and it's not like there's P switches. Oh, there's one here in this land, and there's another one. You got to go 10 miles. Like, they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. And they're hard.
Like
some of them are like actually hard. A lot of I thought all the like the first ones I did, I was like, okay, these are like way too easy. But then I stumbled across a couple where it's like, okay, you got to grind on this rail, jump over to this rail, jump back to this rail, ride this wall, jump back to this rail, go over here and make sure you're on this rail to get into the last. Like, it took me a lot of practice to like do all that and actually get that one done. And then there's even the nuanced stuff of like in some of these things when you're trying to do that stuff, like if you're like, okay, it's timed, but you also have to do this and do that and do this and do that. Like if you go change your character and your cart and do different combinations, some of them do those
Yes.
things better than others. The heavier characters are not good for things where you have to jump and land and like you get a
Exactly.
lighter character with more acceleration. It changes everything. Like
Yep.
it's deep. This game is deep. Like you have to go in and give it some time and look. But I mean, this is deep. I'm not going to say it's on the level of like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom's like physics engine, but like it's got that kind of DNA. You know what I mean? Like there's nuances underneath the surface that they don't tell you, but like it's there. I don't know. I am very much enjoying this game. I really, really like it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I mean, Mario Kart for everybody's just like Mario Kart, but
Yeah.
like I'm into this. I really like it.
So the big question, is it worth $80? I think you kind of already answered it, Drip, but you know.
Yeah, okay. Now I do for me, I think it is worth $80. But again, like I said, I am expecting lots of free content
Yes.
to be put into this game.
I think it's a requirement.
If it comes in the way of marketing for other games and adding cups like that, I am so down with it. I love that idea. If that's what it is, then like yes, $80, especially once we get to where that is. That's the one thing. And then I'll put it over to one of you guys. That's the one thing that really bothers me about what Nintendo does with some of these games, though. It's the sports thing where you get like Mario Golf at launch, which is like, okay, yeah, okay. But then, 6-7 months later, once they've dropped all the free DLC that should have been in the game originally, you've got a whole game. And it's like, yeah, that's a $60 game. It's good. It's perfect. But like they hold it back in this weird way where it's like, it's DLC. And we're like, no, it's not. It's just the rest of the game. I feel like they're kind of doing that with this game. Not as bad, but I do feel like that's kind of happening here.
Yeah. Steve?
Yeah. P switches. So I looked it up. There's 394.
Oh
my God.
Which is an insane amount.
I don't think I'm ever going to beat this game entirely then. That's holy crap.
So
300. There's almost
that's Korok. That's Korok level of insane, Like,
it
geez.
is. I'll say like Michaela and I were, playing on camera and we're just driving around, right? Free roam, looking for, the peach coins, peach medallions, P switches. And she'd be like, oh, there's one over here. And then I'd see where it is. She'd show her screen. I'd be like, okay. And I'd show her. Just doing stuff like that, I think is very valuable. Like I enjoyed my time just doing that. The things I look at too, with Mario Kart World, like you guys remember when the title of the new Mario movie got leaked?
Yeah.
Super Mario World. I do think there's a connection there as well. Something that's bigger that we're going to find out about shortly here. I think that's why the titles are so similar. But again, I would not be surprised if we get a cup based on the movie as well. Same goes for the Zelda movie when that comes out. Again, there's going to be so much cross promotion and cross pollinating, and I don't think this is wishful thinking. I really do not. This makes perfect business sense.
I agree.
Nintendo,
No, I do too.
Nintendo's
It
good
makes
at
a
this
ton
stuff.
of sense.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for the entire outlook. I think we're going to get more battle modes because again, that happened with Mario Kart 8. If you look at Mario Kart 8 on Wii U versus what we ended up getting on Switch, they add it to the battle modes. Yeah. So I expect the whole game to grow with us as the generation goes on. This is going to be a true evergreen title. So for me, there's a lot to be excited about. As far as is it worth $80? like anything, and some people agree with this, some don't, and that's okay because this is how I manage money, right? If I play it for 1,000 hours, which over the course of 6, 7, 8 years, no problem whatsoever. That's 8 cents an hour for my entertainment.
Yep.
8
Pretty good
cents.
deal.
You can't, yeah, it's phenomenal. So, yeah, I know everyone's so concerned with how people want to spend their money suddenly because a game is $10 more than what we're used to. I'm like, look, nobody likes it when the prices go up. Nobody does. But this is part of life. Price goes up on everything. My homeowner's insurance costs more money. The car insurance has went up. The electric bill goes up. Everything goes up. This is part of life. But like, look, if you can tell me I can pay 8 cents an hour, all I have to do is pay $80, and in exchange, you're going to give me entertainment for 8 cents an hour. Dude, I'm all in. That's a no-brainer, right?
Yep.
Now, there's other games we play that we pay how much for? $60, $70. I mean, the standard for AAA games, pretty much $70. And you might play it for 20 hours.
Right.
25, 30. So when it comes to value, entertainment, value, the cost of it, you compare it to other entertainment, like going to the movies, where you get an hour and a half, 2 hours, and the movie might be crap because Hollywood doesn't put out a ton of great movies anymore. You look at that and it's like, dude, when you compare the two, this is just so easy. I think we got it good.
Yeah, I wish more people had that mindset with gaming, because it would make things a lot less controversial and divisive, especially in this particular topic with the price of things. Because we all have times out there where we struggle and financially, and yeah, just to sit here and be like, yeah, I struggle, but I think it's worth $80 is pretty silly, right? From that person's perspective, like, why would you even say that? You're struggling right now, and I am. But like $80 is absolutely worth it. Because with that, you lined it up perfectly. I'll just kind of try to do my best to say it worse. It's really about delight to dollar ratio, and also like hours played. Like, I would have paid $100 for Breath of the Wild. I think $150 would have been fair. I did in fact pay $200 to play Tears of the Kingdom. I bought the collector's edition and I bought it digitally just on top of that. Over $200. Worth every penny. Because the amount of hours that I put into it. It makes it worth it because like you said, like people have no problem going to the movies and paying $20 a ticket for 2 hours. And you do that over and over and over. Okay,
yeah.
well,
yes,
that's
Andrew in the chat is asking who goes to the movies anymore. Me.
Drip,
a lot.
People do still do that.
A lot.
Yeah, it's not just. I know it's less than used to.
I'm going to the movies tomorrow. It's what I'm doing tomorrow. I went Thursday. I go to the movies like once a week. I see like everything.
A theme park.
Yeah.
You go to a theme park and you spend $70 on yourself. You got kids. Good Lord, adds up quick. And you're only there for 2 or 3 hours. If you really made a day out of it, you're there for 5 or 6.
Yeah. And then how much time are you actually on the ride versus standing in a line?
Exactly. I mean, it's not just the movies. It's just think of any form of entertainment.
Anything.
Your subscription services, like any of them that you pay for. Just think about how many hours you actually using that per week, especially if you've got multiple of them. Like,
Yeah.
Gaming is affordable. It can be expensive if you buy everything. And yes, content creators typically buy a lot of things, and it makes it seem like everybody's out here buying everything. I mean, again, no offense to other stats, but look behind you. Okay? I mean, It looks like everybody's like you, but that's not what it is. Not everybody is buying everything. Buy what you want to buy. Buy what makes sense, and you're going to get your money out of it. And that's why you watch reviews to figure out what the best product is. See, that's why I'm telling you to buy this controller. Because you buy this Pro controller, you don't got to waste money on anything else. This is the controller. Good God, just buy this one.
It is.
This
Man,
channel sponsor
really
Skull & Co. with the Neo grip. I already did buy a Satisfy grip. Everyone knows that. I'm not like a homer for anything. I do like this grip. You buy this grip, you don't need any other grip. You don't need to. You could buy more grips, but you don't need to. I mean, I'm getting off topic, but you understand my premise here is that
you don't have to buy everything is the point.
You don't have to buy everything. And also the things that you do buy, just make sure that it's a good value for you, that it makes sense for you. It's subjective. It's not a cut and dry answer. Is it worth $80? It is a subjective thing. If you're only going to play it once in a while, maybe don't buy Mario Kart World. It's not going to be worth it, especially with an increase in price from previous generations. But if you're going to play the crap out of it, and most people who are buying it are going to, it's absolutely worth it. And yes, take it, and plus 70%, like you said, I heard 80%, that was a little bit older a few days ago. Who knows what the number is now? Majority, and seems like the large majority of people who bought a Switch 2 bought with the bundle. So you only paid
$80.
You only paid $50.
I didn't even pay $80 for it. I mean,
well,
but
yeah, 70%.
Some people are. My whole thing is I want them to not. I don't want them to be like, yeah, it was $80, but we got this other stuff and we're gonna put it in, but that is also $20. And then this next thing, that's like I just don't want that. Like we're getting excessive.
You don't want to be nickel and dimed.
Right. We're getting excess. They've already got it right up front. The $80, cool, whatever. Just put the content in as we go, and I'm cool with it. I mean, right now, 2 weeks ago, I said, no, it's not worth $80. I think it's too much. Especially, well, and that was playing what? An hour of it, maybe, in New York. So I didn't get the full scope of what was in there. Playing it now, yes, $80, that's fine. Just make sure the content you're about to put in there doesn't cost $20 more. Then I'm going to be bitching.
Yeah, if Nintendo wants to sell us 48 new tracks again for $25, I'll give it to them right now. That was an absolute steal.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean.
That is a whole different thing. If they literally doubled the game for whatever it was, like $20. Yeah, that's cool. I'm good with that. But characters, a cup, no, don't just put it in there. Just put it in there.
I will say one thing that, again, I totally believe we're going to get more worlds. But one thing we got to factor in with that is with new worlds comes new P-switches, new question blocks.
That's
true. Possibly new music. If there's a Donkey Kong Cup, we might get a bunch of music from Donkey Kong Country. A Zelda Cup, suddenly we have Hyrule Field playing while you're playing Mario Kart. There's
and depending on how big these are, I mean, what, 50 other P-switches? Like, who knows?
Yeah, and I'll say this too. We have a cow in the game, right? We have all these different characters.
Yeah.
I fully expect, I've said this a few times, but I fully expect that when we get a Zelda Cup, Epona is going to be
hell yeah
a character.
Yes.
Epona, the horse from it's not Epona in Echoes of Wisdom, right? There's a different horse. I don't know. Is it a
different horse?
But yeah, like we could get that too. Think about the possibilities of them which by the way, I agree with you. I expect them to one way or another to add Zelda back into the game because it was in the previous game. Animal Crossing.
Can we get a Bokoblin?
Yeah, dude. I expect this, and I expect it.
Oh my god, Lionel!
I expect it to be free. Okay, I don't think they need to be doubling the courses in this game for a while. Add cups, add worlds, if you will, but of Zelda, Animal Crossing, Donkey Kong, you name it, including the characters that are missing. Diddy Kong from Donkey Kong, or a Korok. I want to drive as a Korok in Mario Kart.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, make it happen.
Tingle,
yes,
which would be hilarious.
Yes, yeah, I expect it. It's worth $80 with a big caveat. I expect free content to be added.
I do. I'm expecting that. I'm going to be disappointed if
it's not free. We freaking paid for it, dudes. We paid for it, and I think
it'll be a combination. I do. I don't. It's not all going to be free, but I think at the end of the day, when we get to the end of the road, we're all going to be like, yeah, this was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful way to end it. We're going to end it right here. I'm going to toss Steve's link in the live chat. Those of you listening to this podcast on audio platforms or video platforms, you can check out Steve's link down below. Thunder Stash. Don't forget about it. That stash, It's thunderous. It's beautiful.
Can't
it's
forget
amazing.
it. Can't forget.
But also Steve's content's great. Go check him out anywhere he is at. And thank you so much again, Steve, for giving us your time tonight. Extra generous with it. Really appreciate it. And you guys, the listeners, we appreciate you guys checking it out, listening, and anybody new faces, we appreciate it. You're being here, checking it out. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Like the stream, like the video, do all the things, please. And I'm not exactly sure when Drip and I are going to be on the internet next. I know tomorrow we're probably not going to do anything, but expect us back by Thursday, at least with an extra video. Maybe a podcast clip might come out tomorrow. I might clip that Mario Kart segment and put that out tomorrow. But yeah, again, thank you, listeners. Thank you, Steve. And we're going to catch you guys when we see you next.